any other questions that come from that. So without further ado, I'd like to give the name of the masajid that are involved in this discussion today, and the individuals that are going to be representing those masajid. So as the host myself today, I am speaking on behalf of Minhaj-ul-Quran International London. So these mosques are in very, very close proximity to one another as well. I don't think there's more than 2 miles in between the 4 mosques. So anyone that lives near the Romford Road, Green Street, East Ham, High Street, Barking Road area would know of these 4 institutions. So the first one is Minhaj-ul-Quran. The second one will be joined by Brother Asim Uddin from Masjid Ibrahim, UK Islamic Mission. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? MashaAllah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah for inviting me for this program.
No problem. Hopefully it'll be fruitful for our listeners and ourselves as well. My second guest today is the brother from Shah Jalal Mosque, which is in Manor Park, again on Romford Road. I'd like to welcome Brother Iqbal Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Iqbal. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me here, and it's good to be here.
Fantastic. Jazakallah khair. And last but very not least, our brother Irfan Ali, who is representing Jamia Masjid Newham on High Street North, mashallah. Brother, how are you? Markazi Jamia Masjid Newham.
Ji, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. Yes, alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining. Yes,
fantastic. Jazakallah. So without further ado, let's start off on a little bit of the history. Mashallah, we've got a number of masajid in Newham. We have in excess of 50. We have 354,000 people actually living in Newham, and out of those, just under 100,000, just above 99,000 of them are, mashallah, Muslim. So 33% of the borough of London, borough of Newham, is Muslim. So there's a big proportion of Muslims in the borough, and our masajids play a vital role. So I'll start with Masjid Ibrahim and Brother Asim. Could you give a little, in a couple of minutes, how old the masjid is, when the masjid came into being, and number of services that you provide, mashallah?
Yeah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Jazakallah for the invitation and giving me this opportunity to introduce UK Islamic Mission Masjid Ibrahim. UK Islamic Mission Masjid Ibrahim is part of UK Islamic Mission, which is a nationwide organization which have over 35 mosques around the UK. We had another mosque on same Barking Road, which is Masjid Bilal. So UKIM had first mosque in Newham, which was Masjid Bilal. But as you have mentioned, there were so many, alhamdulillah, Muslims living in the area that we saw that there is a need of another masjid in the area. So we saw there was a showroom actually available on Barking Road, where now Masjid Ibrahim is. So alhamdulillah,
is that a car showroom, Brother Ibrahim?
Yes, it was a car showroom. Yes, yeah, it was a car showroom which was available in Barking Road. So we decided to purchase that, and alhamdulillah, with the help of the local community, we were able to get Masjid Ibrahim. So that's how Masjid Ibrahim came into being, from Masjid Bilal. So half of the members of UK Islamic Mission then moved to Masjid Ibrahim, and in late 90s, alhamdulillah, we started building Masjid Ibrahim, and alhamdulillah, with the cost of £4 million, we have now 3-floor multi-purpose community center and mosque in Barking Road, which is helping around at a time we have capacity of 1,100 musallis who can come and pray in the masjid, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, fantastic. So moving on to Brother Iqbal, a little bit of history on the Shah Jalal Mosque. I'll just give you a little example of the Shah Jalal Mosque, because I used to travel down Romford Road all the time, so we've been seeing Shah Jalal Mosque for a number of years, mashallah. So a little bit of history on that would be fantastic.
Yeah, Jazakallah. The Shah Jalal Mosque actually started off as very small. It was a small singular building. My granddad and a few other co-founders were there to help build this masjid actually. So I'm quite involved with that. My family's been involved with the mosque and our local community as well. So with mashallah, with the grace of their effort, and we've gone to one single building to 4 building now, and we can join the 3 building together. The 4th one, we had consultations with the council to bring that in also, but there will be a lot of work that is required. So we will need therefore, and we this is by the help of all our local community. Was the, as you mentioned, the growth within our Newham community. We're able to do this kind of help for the building of the masjid. So yep, we do the local prayers. We do an education in our masjid as well. So the maktab classes goes on. We have hifz class. We've got the weekday and weekend classes are running, as well as we've got 2 head teachers. So go 1 head teacher on the weekday and head teacher on the weekend. So that's successfully working well. And we also have some planned before pre-COVID is some youth programs and activities. So that was going quite well. When COVID hit, I think, unfortunately, we weren't able to provide that kind of service. But inshallah, when all this COVID stuff is over, we're willing to bring that back up again.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Fantastic. Again, there's so much flavor that the masajid, the different masajids across Newham do. There's so much work that gets done as well. A lot of it maybe doesn't get highlighted, but the mosque definitely is the hub for the community. There's no doubt about that. Moving on to Brother Irfan, just a little bit of history again about your masajid, when it came into being, and some of the services that you guys provide.
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think I'll proudly say Markazi Jamia Masjid, that's how we're calling it nowadays, but previously known as Anjaman Islamia, Newham, is one of the oldest and long-standing masjids around. I can remember when my grandfathers and forefathers laid the foundation. They started from Colvin Road, which was a very small house, and they used to have very small numbers of workers and local people coming attending, and they used to start their jamaats from there 5 times a day. And then they moved on to Hine Road, and then from Hine Road they actually bought this building, and the history tells me that it used to be a cinema. It used to be bombed down. It was a derelict building, and they, at that times they spent a lot of time and effort to create the space. I mean, some people even tell me to this day that they used to read their namazis on stones, pebbles and that. Clear the space, and alhamdulillah, now they've built a very nice masjid, and it's been going successful for many years, and a lot of hard work has been put into it. Currently, we are only running our normal daily 5-time namazes. Jummah has been locked down due to the lockdown. There's no Jummah prayers. Classes, again, we've suspended classes. Nothing's happening at the mosque at the moment, but that service is there available. And we also used to be the oldest funeral running service. So we were one of the ones, I remember the first ones, they used to do bodies going abroad, so Pakistan or whatever they need to send, and it's the only mosque, and I think it's still the only mosque is doing it. And also, the funeral service that they provided for many years. So alhamdulillah, one of the oldest, I think.
MashaAllah, I believe Masjid Ibrahim also provides a funeral service. Minhaj-ul-Quran does as well. So a lot of these masjids, they play a vital role in people's the funeral procession. Definitely, alhamdulillah. Then obviously there's education involved with the on top of obviously the Jummah, and the education is very important as well, mashallah. Moving on, obviously I know that the actual show was in relation to COVID and how the masajid dealt with this. So if we start with the first lockdown, so if I take our listeners back, I know it's been such a long time because of COVID that the timing and maybe a day feels like a month, and a month maybe feels like a year. But this time last year, I think everything was normal. It was operational. So there was probably no one was wearing a face mask. If you had a packed Jummah, there was no request to bring your own musalla. So if I go back when it came, because we've got a break in about 5 minutes, so we'll come into when they actually closed the masjid. if we just take in a discussion of what kind of measures were you guys discussing before the lockdown came into place. So if I start with Brother Ibrahim, what was Brother Asim, sorry, from Masjid Ibrahim, what were the discussions before the lockdown came into place last year before Ramadan? Because I'm assuming a lot of the masjids were doing their planning for fundraising and the activities that they wanted to do in Ramadan, and then all of a sudden for that to just come to a halt and stop must have been very, very challenging.
Yes, absolutely. It was. As you mentioned, in February, March, nobody knew what exactly it is. How deadly, how lethal this virus gonna be. So we were only hearing, what was happening in China, what was happening in other countries until it came here, and it came in UK, or you can say London, as a boom. And it was like, you can say that we never knew what going to happen tomorrow. So same thing, we were going through it, and our planning were that that we will have a, inshallah, nice tarawih in our masajid, and we will have different other activities in Ramadan, like the understanding Quran classes, and similar projects we were thinking of, that inshallah and that's what we were planning. We even booked the Qur'an, Qari for the Tarawih, and we were thinking that inshallah we will have some nice peaceful Ramadan. But it all suddenly turned away from us. But we did not give up. Alhamdulillah, Masjid Ibrahim, from the very next day of the lockdown, we started our food bank. And this is, Alhamdulillah, we were planning it for some time, but we never got that opportunity to start it. But COVID, there are so many negative things, but some of the positive things also happened. That Alhamdulillah, we started the food bank from there. And in the beginning, we had, I remember, for the first day, we had only 5 people who came. But within a month, in the month of Ramadan, we had 800 people queuing up outside our mosque for food. So Alhamdulillah, that's where we got more enthusiasm, we got more encouragement that inshallah we can do it. And Alhamdulillah, we started distributing evening meals and groceries, and our then we started becoming partners with other organizations, and Alhamdulillah, we are still running the food bank. Second thing which we did, which was outstanding, that we partner with British Red Cross. And that's something, people were losing the job, people were unable to do the job, people were furlough, or some people had not enough salary to feed their families. So with British Red Cross, we Alhamdulillah started giving 1080 pound each family. That was a huge amount for those who had nothing in their pocket. So Alhamdulillah, for 3 continuous months, April, May, June, for 3 months we started giving them that money, which helped them a lot. And Alhamdulillah, it's look like it's only 70 families, but if you see 70 family means it's almost 70,000 pound in 3 months we distributed to the families. And third service which we were running for last 4 years was our funeral service. And I will come on later on when on the second part of it, that how big this funeral service is right now, and how important it is that we should be staying at home right now, and we must listen to the government what have been said.
Fantastic. Jazakallah, Brother Asim. So, Brother Iqbal, like you said, that there's a you're expanding the masjid. It's every time you drive past, mashallah, you've purchased the next building. So I'm assuming this time last year you guys were thinking, all right, it's time. So we've got Ramadan coming up. We need to get all our donor base ready, give them that fantastic Ramadan, that spiritual element in Taraweeh and Iftari time, and then for all that to just come to a halt because of a government announcement and the pandemic obviously taking center stage. How did you and your committee and the masjid and the masjid volunteers, how did you guys how were you feeling at that stage?
Well, before I start, but great work with Masjid Ibrahim as well. So, I mean, good to hear about the funeral service. So that was a great
Alhamdulillah,
stuff,
mashallah.
mashallah. With us, we don't have any other support to give to our community because we've got the funeral services as a wash area. We don't actually have like a morgue facility or anything like that as such. So this is something that we'll be working on. So as you said about the expansion, what we were thinking during the Ramadan is that, okay, yes, the element about getting the funds coming in, mashallah, if we get the other building to come in, then we will need the extra funds and everything like that. So we're in preparation for this and we're gearing up to that. And then when this whole thing came along, it's like, okay, we have to now, so the committees get together, having these meetings, and what do we do? Because we can't really do anything because the governments are not supporting us. The government's saying, okay, you're going to shut down, you're going to shut down. So what do we do? I mean, there's bigger charities, mosque out there. There's a smaller, bigger and smaller out there. And the only source of income they have is the donation. And when you don't have that, it becomes a very struggle for us. So our plan, as me from being from the technology sector, work as an IT manager, is like, what platform can I bring in with the technology side of things? So the technology element came in, redeveloping our website, the online payment. So although we've got the physical money being stopped, at least we've got another element with online payment. So alhamdulillah, that was going well. We've had the program. They had a Jummah challenge. We done the Jummah challenge, launched good. That's what it was. And they had this Jummah challenge. I think we won 3 times in a row, and mashallah, more funds came in. So this initiative there that actually kept us going, even though the masjid was closed. So I think my biggest thing is that the element of getting in technology on there, getting the radio service up, and then you've got the live stream. So the mental health aspect, where people usually used to come to the mosque, actually they got a service that can be received from home. So when these elements come in and helping out the community, that goes a long way.
Subhanallah, Jazakallah khair. And last but not least, Brother Irfan, so again, I pose that question. As a masjid a year ago, you're thinking, okay, we've got a big and busy 3 period coming up now. You've got the Minhaj-ul-Nabi coming, you've got the holy month of Ramadan. You know that the people like to be in the masjid on the 27th night, the 23rd night, the odd nights in the last. Then you've got your Eid prayers. That's probably your busiest part of the calendar as a masjid, and you're most profitable as well. So what was the sentiments in your own center when everything just came crashing down at the end of March last year?
Yeah, I mean, very difficult. I mean, I think everyone faced it. All the masajids. I wouldn't say just us alone. We are on some of these forums, and we were exchanging messages amongst each other, and everyone had the same feeling. And the biggest impact, I think, was where places of worships were closed via the government. That's where the problem started. So if the government has ordered us as trustees and volunteers or organizers or committee members to shut it down, we had no choice left. We had to close down. It was for the safety of all our Masalli's attendees and make sure that the virus was controlled. So alhamdulillah, I give grace to all the Muslim communities and all the masajids who followed that guidance, and they closed their masjids down for the safety purposes. And then, yes, we missed the Tarawih, we missed our get-together fast, iftar time. MashaAllah, we used to have a lot of people there. I mean, everyone missed that, the feeling of Ramadan and stuff. And
missing the samosas and the masjid.
Most of that as well. And then obviously the Hufazis who used to lead the Tarawihs for us. I mean, they surely must have missed that month as well, for not being there, not attending, and not having, the gathering and the feeling that we used to have. But unfortunately, like they say, life does matter. So I think that's very important. And then also during the first lockdown, which I thought our mosque done very, very well, and I give it credit to Masjid Ibrahim as well, they've been doing it as well, is the funeral service. I remember when the disease was announced that it's COVID-19 coronavirus, and everyone was scared, that it's going to get transmitted amongst each other. What PPE equipment are we going to use? How are the safety control measures going to go? I mean, there's a lot of doubts in mind, but alhamdulillah, we had a community. I will give grace to my community. Some of the volunteers got together and they said, look, we don't care what is going to happen. we are going to treat every Muslim who passes away in the equal rights they should be given during the death. So ghusl, janaza, and burial. And we work together with Garden of Peace. Alhamdulillah, they've done a fantastic job as well. And we got the first wave through, and now we're on the second wave and third wave. So let's see how we get on. When I'll give Brother Asim the opportunity to explain better on the funeral side, and then I'll give my version.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'd echo those sentiments. Even with Minhaj-ul-Quran, I think it's a relatively new funeral service that they've started, but obviously it opens your eyes when you see the number of cases that are coming in every day, where you're having to do so many ghusls. They were expecting maybe 1 or 2 to be in a week, and then you've got 2 or 3 in a day that you're doing. So this is a very, very important, fantastic service that the massages provide. We are having a fantastic time, but we do need to go on to a break. So inshallah, once we do come back from this short break, we'll discuss how the mosque slowly opened up in July and what measures every masajid had to take to ensure that they were compliant with the government guidelines. So we'll see you guys back, Masjid Shah Jalal, Masjid Ibrahim, and Jamia Masjid Newham and Minhaj-ul-Quran. We will see you after this short break. Jazakallah khair.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
Turkish Kitchen. The best Turkish food you'll ever taste. We only use the highest quality meat. Along with our mixed grill platters, we serve cold mezes, hot mezes, lahmacun, and a wide selection of fish options. To order for delivery or collection, call us now on 0208 507 8822. That's 0208 507 8822. Or visit us at 41 Ripple Road, Barking, IG11 7NT. We can also take group bookings and take care of all your party needs. The Turkish Kitchen, Barking.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
Greetings. Today we'll be talking about COVID-19 vaccines, what vaccines do, and of course the safety issues. I would like to welcome today Dr. Shahib Qureshi, Senior GP. Can you summarize how exactly a vaccine works in the body?
Vaccines work by teaching your immune system how to defend itself against attack by creating protective antibodies. In any vaccine, the virus is then extremely weakened or inactivated and so cannot cause the disease. It's much safer for your immune system to learn this through vaccination than by catching the diseases and treating them.
Will the same vaccine work for all groups of people?
Different vaccines may work better for different groups of people. So trials have taken place on large and diverse group of volunteers. Approximately 30,000 people have already participated. As a frontline GP and one who was infected by COVID-19, I would strongly advise you to please take up this vaccination.
Thank you for being here today, Dr. Qureshi. The COVID-19 vaccines are a huge step forward. Testing has been done to the highest standards and the NHS are ready for its rollout. For further information, please visit the website nhs.uk/COVID-vaccination.
Someone on your street, at your supermarket or in your park is highly likely to have COVID-19. This is a national health emergency. Around 1 in 3 people have no symptoms and are spreading it without knowing. So it's critical we stay home. Don't meet anyone outside your household or support bubble except for exercise. Only go out if it's essential. Stop the spread. Stick to the rules. If you bend the rules, people will die. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep washing our hands when we get to work, keep wearing our face coverings in shops, keep making space when we're out and about.
Morning.
And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
ReviveFM 94.0. On the radio, on your mobile, and online.
Assalamu alaikum, viewers. I am listeners. I hope you guys are well. So just before we went into the break, we had three representatives from three different mosques. Well, four representatives if you add myself, but I'm hosting. Three representatives from three different masajids, just giving their a little outview and outlook on what the situation was like at the time of the lockdown last March. Brothers, I think one of us has their mic on. If you could kindly just put our mics off until we are speaking. So yeah, I'd like to swiftly move on. So, come 3 months into the lockdown, and I think the Muslim community was really, really depressed because your lagan and your connection is with the mosque, especially in the month of Ramadan. So to lose out on the month of Ramadan, and then to lose out on the Eid prayers, and then you heard the horror stories up north. I think we were safe in London, but the night before in Manchester, they said, yeah, it's complete lockdown. No houses can meet, and you know what our communities are like. Everyone's in and out of each other's houses for the next 3 days when it comes to Eid. So that must have been tough. So in terms of when the masjids were given permission to reopen, what kind of things needed to be done at Masjid Ibrahim, Brother Asim, or what kind of measures did you guys take to ensure that you guys were compliant with the guidelines and protective of the people that were visiting your masjid?
Yeah, Jazakallah. So, as you know, when we were given a go-ahead by the government that the mosque will be reopened, we were so excited and enthusiastic that we will make sure that we are following the guidelines. And I would like to give credit to our public health Newham team. They really work hard on it. They came to us. They said that, look, we know that you are totally new to this type of risk assessment, and how to manage crowd, especially the pandemic is still there, but we are relaxing the rules, so you must follow certain rules. So alhamdulillah, we worked together with public health Newham, and we make sure that whatever advice is given to us, we take it on board. We had team of trustees who sat down, who worked on the risk assessment and making sure that we have enough resources available. That's the main thing. Normally in our masajid, we struggle with resources, that how to maintain these guidelines when people are coming in the masjid. They must have what we were told was they must be having their masks, they must carry a prayer mat, they must have a bag for their shoes, and they must not be interacting with each other, mingling with each other, and there is a proper social distancing, not shaking hand and hugging. This is one of the things which unintentionally, when we see each other, we do this. So alhamdulillah, we were so lucky. We had team of around 20 volunteers who came forward. We trained them with public health Newham team. We show them how exactly they have to do. We make sure that there are all the guidelines are followed, especially in Jummah. In normal days, yes, we don't need that much, because they are your regular namazis, musallis. They come and they know what to do. But on Fridays, we had to do 3 Fridays. We were full on 3 Fridays. So what we decided was the technology came to rescue us. We started using an online platform to book in advance, so people are not so many people are queuing up outside our masjid. And we use the QR code, so people were coming in, showing us their tickets. We were just checking them in and letting them inside. So that's how we had not very long queues, and we make sure that, as we were in the beginning, we were told that we must have the attendees details. in GDPR context that it must be insecure. So that's why instead of keeping our database, we depended on a third party online website who were in GDPR compliance. So we moved on to that, and we make sure that we are following all the guidelines. We moved using technology. We moved our madrasa online. Even we started the masjid, and the namazis, the musallis started coming, but we decided still it was not a good time to bring in our students. So from the very first day of the first lockdown, we moved all our madrasa classes, alhamdulillah, online. We run weekend school also. It's called Al Farouk Weekend School for girls and boys. We moved that also online. So all our activities went online. Alhamdulillah, we established our YouTube channel, and we make sure that our imams are giving regular sermons on there, especially in Ramadan. We did that every day. One ruku, not ruku, sorry, one para. Tafsir was relayed every night in the month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, this is what we make sure that people who are missing. It was a big thing. We never ever thought in our life that there will be a day when the mosque will be closed. We never ever thought that something like this is gonna happen. So people were really upset, people were depressed, people were in stress that some of our uncles, 70, 80 years old, we were telling them, no, you are not coming into the masjid, sorry, you are not allowed. They were coming onto the doors, and some of the uncles saying, please, nobody's seeing us, let us in. I said, look, it's about your health. We cannot allow you to come in. We know you are not 50 years old, you are 70. You have to go back, unfortunately. So this is what unfortunately we had to do it. It was for their protection, it was for their safety. We had to do this. So alhamdulillah, it worked very, very good with us, and alhamdulillah, we had no complaint. We worked really closely with NHS also. We had given the site QR, so anybody who were coming in, they were checking in. So if there is any track and trace, it can be used. So alhamdulillah, we never received anything, alhamdulillah, and the credit goes not to us, to the musallis and namazis, mashallah. They really, I would say, the Muslim community in Newham is really responsible, and they know how to protect themselves and how to make sure that they are following the guidelines. So alhamdulillah, in our masjid we had complete you can say acceptance by the namazis, who helped us a lot, alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. Just moving on to Brother Iqbal. So, Brother Iqbal, we're coming to July, and the pubs are starting to finally open, and the shopping centers are opening, and everyone's dying to jump out the house and get back to normal life. So, what was the discussions in your committee? Because obviously you're wary that you don't want you want to have the social guidelines and the distancing done properly in your mosque. So how was those discussions, and how did you guys manage to come over any hurdles?
Yeah, firstly, with regards to our musallis, a big shout out to them as well, because they're the one. If without their support, we couldn't be where we are at the moment. So it's for them to adhere to the rules and regulation. That's really forthcoming for us. So what happened with us? I'm a Newham COVID health champion. So I've been getting all these information. So I've been going behind the scene, going to these meetings and getting all these information about this whole COVID-19. Now, we've again, with a big shout out with the public health team in Newham, especially with Jason and Linda, Stephanie, and Shah Mahmood was another person who's coordinating all this, and he's been getting all the mosques together and having these conversations, giving these advice, especially on towards the with the risk assessment. There's a lot of confusion, and with our committee members, some of our uncles probably do not understand how this risk assessment works. So we are finding, we are supporting them. So we're getting that information, the guidelines, the government guidelines, and then we're sitting down, and then we're sitting with the committee and say how we do this. So with our Shah Jalal Mosque, we had our, again, big shout out to our volunteers as well. And without them, we couldn't be in this position where we are now at the moment. They've got together, all our community members got together and worked on a plan and see how that actually works. So when we have it down on a piece of paper, we can actually see what process that we have to follow. So do we keep 1 meter? I mean, the whole question about, is it 1 meter, 2 meter? There was a whole conversation about that. So we've kept about 1.5 meters. In normal salah, we can do 2 meters even. So we wanted to be safe. We want to keep our musallis safe. So we've from the help from public health and from the council, we've got toolkits available to us. That was a really good help, because I was behind it. I mean, with Newham Muslim Forum, Newham Council of Mosque, when we went out there, we were saying that the mosques out there don't have these toolkits, like the posters, the signage, hand sanitization, those tapes that you put on the floor. They don't have this. They're not prepared for it. So the council's gone out the way and got these toolkits for us, and then we distributed it out to all the masjids. So that was a very good help for us. The Salah app, Asim Bhai actually touched on. We found that it didn't really work for us. We didn't want to have this discrimination where people come in by a Salah app and give them the priority, and the other people are waiting outside in a queue. They don't get their space. So the Salah app was that was out, introduced at that time. We tested it out. We signed up for it, but I didn't think it worked well. QR code, again, that was displayed out there. I think ITV featured one of the Shah Jalal Mosque. I was there as well. So we went through the whole QR code. So that was really, really good with in terms of monitoring what was happening with our musallis. Well, we weren't exactly monitoring, but it's just that the facilities provided by the NHS, by the government, those tools were available. And obviously mentioned about the live stream, we never used Mixler or anything like that. We've always used the radio service for. I'm looking at where someone doesn't have a radio service at home, then how do they really listen to our service? That's when I actually went on to Mixler and spoke to our young imam, and they said, yeah, that's not a problem. We can do this. We've run Jummah services online, and then also after some salahs up, especially after Asr, do some nasiha. So at least everyone's engaged and they're listening. So they're not missing out the imam's voice and everything like that. So those repetitive information. And one thing that I add into it is that, okay, make sure you are safe, keeping if you're going out, hand wash and all that stuff. So those COVID elements were inside that talk as well. So it's got this Islamic perspective and how to keep yourself safe. So that youngsters and stuff like that, so they are involved when they listen to these kind of services. Alhamdulillah, it's been well planned, and without those external services, other council mosques out there, without their help, we would have not known about this, how this virus works, or how we can better our processes within the masjid.
MashaAllah. And finally, Brother Irfan, so we come into July and Alhamdulillah, the masjids are allowed to be opened again. And I'm just assuming, and obviously from my own experiences also, our elder generation, and they're looking at what? Hand sanitizer, face mask, ma'un musalla, astaghfirullah, to take my shoes inside the hall with me. And then the funerals even till today are limited, and obviously you guys provide a funeral services. Then you've got the hullabaloo of only 30 people. Oh, this brother knew 30,000 people. How are you going to limit to 30 people? So what kind of challenges did your particular masjid have once you opened up with the new guidelines?
Yeah, I personally believe it was I would say sort of a shock to every mosque, because remember, for the past life, everyone's used to coming into the mosque, straight through, going to the wuzu area, which was always open, the toilet facilities, run and join the salah, after the salah, handshaking with the imam. I mean, all of this was natural, it was normal. And then suddenly the next day you can't do any of that. So we as a committee, we had to assess everything. So how safely are we going to open the mosque, which will allow for all these things? I mean, one thing nobody's touched on, and I think I will a little bit, is, we were given new roles. So you had to have a COVID-19 officer. Was there a COVID-19 officer a night before? No. Next day, you need to appoint one. Who is it going to be? How is he going to control, the crowds that are coming in? Majority of our crowds during the daytime, I mean, a lot of the youngsters are working, so they're not attending the mosque. It's all the elderly namazis. Now, English is a problem, right? So you need to make sure the COVID-19 officer needs to be a regular namazi who knows how to speak Urdu, Punjabi, and English, so that when our elderly namazis do come into the mosque, you need to politely explain why these rules have changed. We as trustees had a responsibility. If we didn't do risk assessment properly, legally we could be liable, because obviously the risk element inside the mosque. And then on the other hand is, trying to explain, like you said, to the elderly namazis, you can't use a toilet today. I want to go to the toilet. Well, you can't. It's a no-no. And to adapt to the situation, to adapt to this new turnaround, and alhamdulillah, give it to most of our namazis and musallis. They listen to us, they're with us, they've supported us, and they've changed things around. And again, to the volunteers, and for them it was a new thing. They had to make notes of people coming in. So we were actually taking names and numbers and temperature. Now, temperature, another funny thing I would say, when you're pointing a gun at somebody, say, oh, why are you taking my temperature? For us, it was to make sure, everyone who's coming in is safe. It's not just for us, for the imams. I mean, nobody mentions them. I mean, they're the ones that are there 5 times a day, and the safety of the imams, safety of our volunteers, safety of, everyone coming into the mosque. So there's a lot of things, a lot of changes, and there was a changes overnight and just out of the blue sort of things. So everything was new, the whole territory. So it was a lot of effort. I mean, a lot of effort by our volunteers. I mean, sanitizing the mosque, musallis straight after every namaz. So everything was different. It was a new challenge, and we've overcome it. Alhamdulillah, we're getting used to it now, and I think it's going to be like that for many years to come. I think, by the looks of it.
For someone that's obviously been in and around masajid for a number of years, the patience that the Muslim community in Newham has shown is it's actually commendable, because our community, before COVID, it was literally running into the toilet, doing a wuzu, running past each other. And now when you see everyone queuing up outside the masjid, the masjid is full, you're going to have to wait. You have to do the temperature check. You have to leave from the other exit. You can't leave from this exit. Alhamdulillah, it's very commendable that our community is playing a vital role. There was murmurs when the masjids opened up last year and this could be a place where COVID could be, spread very quickly, and you'd have super spreaders. But I think, especially in Newham, mashallah, our masajid and our community leaders have played a leading role. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to go on a short break. When we do return, inshallah, we're going to look at the current situation, the current numbers, the current infection rate in the UK and in Newham especially, and what the plan are for the masajids for the foreseeable future. We were speaking about previous Ramadan. Ramadan 2021 is less than 2 months away now. So what are our plans, the masajid's plans for 2021? We will see you after these short messages.
Nitro Treats, the dessert lab where your treats are formulated before your very eyes. Keep cool with our flavored shaved ice, or chill out with our exclusive Dragon Breath Nitro ice creams. Experiment with our selection of mojitos, or indulge in our traditional faludas or lassis. Visit Nitro Treats at 210 Ilford Lane, where our nitrologists remain ready to serve. Nitro Treats, it's nitrolicious.
Through Minhaj Welfare Foundation, your giving saves lives. Your support has provided more than 3 million people with access to clean and safe water, emergency relief in natural disaster and crisis-affected areas around the world, supported orphans and needy children with a better future. This year, your help can do more. Donate your zakat, sadaqah, and charitable donations to any of your chosen projects. Call us now, 0300 3030 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. 5616. Advertise with Revive FM.
Revive FM 94.0. On the radio, on your mobile, and online.
Assalamu alaikum, listeners and viewers. We are back for the final segment of our talk. It's been very intriguing. I've learned a lot. I didn't know Masjid Ibrahim was a car show, showroom, for instance. I didn't know that Brother Irfan's Masjid used to be a cinema like Minhaj-ul-Quran. So there's always stories behind these organizations and the masjids and the hard work of the community. And the community members to ensure that we have masajids where we can go and pray. So at the current rate, so I'm looking at the figures. As of today, there's been in excess of 3.5 million cases of COVID in the United Kingdom. Sadly, 94,580 people have passed away. So we're slowly creeping up to the 100,000 mark, which is shocking. So I won't go into how bad the government's dealt with it, but even today, the latest figures show that there's 38,000 new cases that have been reported today. Winding it down and bringing it into Newham, in the last 6 days, so 10th to the 16th of Jan, there were 4,134 cases in Newham alone. So that's quite a significant number, especially we all are living in Newham. We know the area of Newham, it's quite a condensed area as it is. So there is the chance of obviously spreading. Moving forwards now, obviously the situation isn't great. Some masajid are obviously open, some masajid are closed, some boroughs have contacted their masajid and told them to close. I believe that was a situation in Barking and Dagenham. I believe that was in Redbridge as well. Newham, I think, is fared a bit better. I think, as we mentioned before the break, our community leaders and the public at large have done quite well. But what are the plans now moving forward, Brother Asim? What is the plan for Ramadan 2021? Is it going back to normal, or is it functioning at half capacity, or what are the plans for Masjid Ibrahim in the coming months?
Brother Umar, I would say I can't talk about tomorrow. Ramadan is still 2 months away. What I am seeing right now in our funeral services, most of the mosque goers or most of the community is not seeing. The number of dead and deceased in my mortuary is overwhelming. It's really out of proportionate. We in normal days we used to have 1 or 2 funeral prayer in a week, and sometimes 7 to 8, you can say, in a month. We, since the second lockdown, never had a space in our mortuary. We have 2 to 3 days waiting. We have to wait. The deceased family have to wait because we can't pick up the body from hospital because we have no space and the cemeteries have no space. People are not seeing this. I am seeing this. Another media team was in the masjid and they saw we had 7 coffins in the masjid. We had no space. There were 2 more waiting to come into the masjid. We had no space. 2 days before that, we had 10 deceased, 10 coffins in my masjid. We had no space. I never ever thought that I will have that time when we had to offer 4 janazas together in my masjid. We had 2 janazas today. We still have, because there is no burial time slot available in Garden of Peace. There are unfortunately deceased in my mortuary in Masjid Ibrahim right now, waiting for the funeral, waiting for the burial. It's that bad. There are 2 things which is affecting. Number 1 is that people are not seeing this, how bad it is. Those who are vulnerable, unfortunately, in BAME community is huge number. We are just a small mosque, and we have 10 deceased at a time. 10 Muslim brothers and sisters in coffin in my mosque at a time. And you can just think how would be the situation in other mosques where the funeral services is really overwhelming. And I would like to remind everyone that please listen to NHS, listen to what you have been told, because I had last week, one of the deceased was only 49 years old. 70 to 75% deceased are COVID patients. So out of 10, there were 7 who were COVID patients. Sometimes we have 8 COVID patients at a time. And they are as young as 45, 48, 49. We are not talking about 80, 86. It's that young. They are passing away. One of the lady who had a funeral on Monday, she even didn't get a chance to go to hospital. She passed away in the ambulance. She was a Muslim sister.
No.
We had a funeral of her this Monday. So we have one of our committee member. He was 85 years old. He passed away at home. It took 1 week for coroner and burial space, to get him buried. We never ever thought that something like this will happen, especially in Newham, that we are just waiting to pick up a body. My email is full of burial forms. Literally every half an hour I am receiving burial forms, and this is what we are dealing with. On second hand, we have a food bank. We have living people who have lost their jobs. They have, it's since March, not everybody have that facility available that they can still continue with the job. They can't be furloughed. There are so many who are undocumented. There are asylum seeker. There are so many people who lost their job. Those who have no resources to public fund. I have to look after them. I means Masjid Ibrahim. I'm nothing. But what I'm saying is there are two extreme I am seeing right now in Newham. In my masjid, I am seeing these two extreme. So I'm not thinking about Ramadan right now. What I'm thinking is how we can manage that we can feed 350 people responsible, 350 families, not people, 350 people, families responsibility on us, which we have to provide food every week. So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking that I'm making sure that our funeral service is not going out of where we
overcapacity,
because our capacity. I have around 20 to 25 volunteers who are only dedicated for washing. Because of the COVID cases, we cannot allow families to give the washing. So our volunteers are giving it. Alhamdulillah, all the credit goes to those volunteers who are doing this. So right now, no plans for Ramadan, no plan for anything. The only two things I am concentrating is that making sure that we are not running out of capacity, and making sure that the respectful burial space is available for the families, because we are giving free of cost. For last 4 years, we were giving free of cost funeral service, but now it's look like people have no means to pay for the funeral cost. And that's why there are more people coming to us, more and more people coming to us, and we are open arm, we are welcoming them, and we are giving them full respect as much as we can. Alhamdulillah. So this is, unfortunately, my answer is we are not looking towards Ramadan. We are looking towards what exactly we can do for our community right now.
Yeah, maybe I did jump the gun a bit with the Ramadan planning. We're coming to an end as well. So, Brother Iqbal, obviously there's a lot of, in our WhatsApp groups and our community groups, there's a lot of conspiracy theories as well about the vaccine. So as a responsible member of the community, what is your message to the listeners who are maybe hesitant or are believing the conspiracy theories about the vaccine?
Yeah, funny enough, we've been speaking to the public health, Adiola. She's Newham's public health person. And me and Mohammed Bray went out and had a conversation, and we was talking about how we can get this message across. So I think the vaccine program is something that is being pushed out. The message is going out there, but I think we need to put the message out via our masjid services so everyone is aware of it. So get rid of this myth that's out there. We asked for the public health person to actually start building this infographics or some sort of video or animation, so it's simple to understand, so they can take up this vaccine program. Now, we're not looking at Ramadan. Our masjid is closed, so it's been closed for 2.5 weeks. We may continue to close because of this whole variation of this virus, because there's this whole old virus, and then you got the new virus variation, and that is spreading quick, and our Muslim is not getting that. Although my masjid is closed, but my neighboring masjid might be open. So our Muslim is trying to say, okay, why is this masjid open and why are you closed then? So we need to look at all the demographics out there. Is that how's it affecting? Newham is one of the highly affected borough. Now, with the big message that needs to go out there is to take the vaccine that's out there for us. There's rapid test centers out there. Maybe during Ramadan is that we have late service open. So I know whether we open our mosque or we don't open up our mosque, these centers should be available for us, for our Muslims to go on there and take out the vaccination. That's the biggest thing, is that take up the vaccination. And there are a lot of forums out there, a lot of leaders who actually work in, Studwala's another video he released, he taking the vaccination. So I think these peer leaders, if they go out there and show that they're taking these videos and then share it out, then everyone build that trust and they'll probably take that vaccination, especially to our elderly. If they want to go into the masjid as soon as possible, then take up the vaccination. That's my key message.
Fantastic. And I totally agree with that as well. Today in the sermon at Minhaj-ul-Quran as well, the Imam and a few volunteers yesterday went and had the vaccination. So it was an opportunity for them to actually let the community at large know that Bill Gates isn't listening to his thoughts now or anything similar like that, and they should go ahead and take the vaccination. So finally, Brother Irfan, we are coming to an end. So what would your message be in regards to the vaccination and the continuation of social distancing and the role of the masajid in the short but distant future?
At the moment, I think we should be following government guidelines. I'm a bit concerned about the ones that were issued this time around, where the government has been saying that this is a very fast transmitting disease, but still allowed our masjids to be open. So if the masjids are open, my advice to all the ones that are open, please make sure, hand sanitizers, sanitizing, looking after, the place of worship, making sure it's clean and tidy, making sure, you talk to the vulnerable, educate them to say, look, go and get the vaccine done, right? That's very important priority. And also, when you are coming to the masajids, follow rules, guidelines, wear your face mask, make sure the masalla, and just keep on educating people, reminding them, and making sure that the places of worships that are open are safe. Like Brother Asim said, there's been a number of deaths, and I've seen the increase of deaths as well. We run a funeral service. Same again, where we're used to doing, two a week, maybe not even that, 2 a month, I would say. Now that's become, 5 a day, and Brother Asim is facing a lot more than that. And also, I think this is going to go on for quite a while. The government are saying once the vaccine is rolled out, then, obviously it's going to ease off. I can't see that happening. So my message to everyone is keep safe, keep communicating with the volunteers, make the life easy by adhering to rules, listening to each other, helping each other, and especially if you're vulnerable, try not to attend. You've got leeways. Islam is giving you leeways to pray at home. It's the safety for everyone's concerns. And with the vaccination, there was a statement by, I think, Sheikh Tahir al-Qadi the other day, which I think was a fantastic way, big spiritual leader, to come out on Sky News and say, look, it's safe. So, everyone should be taking it. So we need more and more of these spiritual leaders to come forward and say, look, please take the vaccine. It's good, it's safe, and that hopefully will encourage all our community to take them.
Inshallah. As they say, time flies when you're having a very good time. The hour has actually flown by. I cannot thank enough my 3 beloved brothers that have joined me. We have to do this again, inshallah, and I can't wait to actually invite you to the studio, but I'll need you to see you guys have taken your vaccination and bring your vaccination passport with you, and then we'll have this, inshallah. live in the studio as well. So
Inshallah.
brother Asim from Masjid Ibrahim, thank you very much. Brother Iqbal from Shah Jalal Masjid, thank you very much. And brother Irfan from Markazi Masjid Newham, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I hope we can do this very, very soon. I hope you stay safe, your communities stay safe, your masjids continue doing the fantastic and eye-opening work that they do, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala see this as a form of sadaqah jariyah for us when we do leave this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Your giving saves lives.